Hello, Regina. Good evening. How you doing today?
Uh, that part's so good.
Yeah, I can hear you. So glad.
Uh, oh yes, I'm glad. I am almost at home. Okay, so I'm driving.
You're not already?
No, I'm driving, but I can,
You can take this one, right?
yeah,
Okay. So I'm gonna be precise and concise in this session. So we got the introduction here. Can you read, please?
try, hold on, sorry.
Or just let me explain to you that in this session we're gonna
No,
explore.
that's fine. I
Okay.
already start. Yeah. Hold Okay, it says today we will explore the advantages and disadvantages of authentic assessment. While this type of assessment offers meaningful learning experiences, it also presents challenges for teacher and students understanding. Both sides will help us implement better assessment strategies in the classroom.
Okay. Very good. So, as you know, that in the previous session we were discussing the differences that we got between the authentic assessment and the traditional assessments, right? So, in this session, we're gonna discuss about the pros and cons and that authentic assessment has. That will be our topic today, okay?
Mhm.
As objective for this session, we got to identify the main benefits of authentic assessment, to recognize its limitations and challenges, to compare the pros and cons with traditional assessment, and we're going to reflect on how to maximize the benefits and minimize the drawbacks in educational settings. Okay.
Okay.
As usually, and you know it, I would like to start with a speaking activity, but in this case, I brought just two questions. Okay. The first one is, in your opinion, what makes an assessment fair and useful for students? What do you think
Um,
about it?
well, where is let me think about it. What name is there?
Yeah.
Um, well, first of all, I think that the test or the quiz, whatever we will provide to our student, needs to be clear, needs to have the objective, what is the main purpose of the exam, what we would like to evaluate, um, explain as much as possible all the things that we need that they do. Um, and also, yeah, that's all.
Yeah, that's right. And especially when you put into practice the principles of assessment, that
Exactly.
in the previous tutorial and the previous sessions, we were discussing just a little bit about it, like practicality, reliability. So if we put into practice those principles, so the assessment is gonna be very useful for our students, okay?
Okay.
What about the second one? Have you ever taken a test or completed an assignment that truly helped you in real life? What was it and why?
Have you ever taken a test or considered an assignment to help you in real life? Let me think about it.
Okay.
Okay, so I remember that, um, well, it's not related with a test, but it could be related with a specific teacher. I remember that when
Mm-hmm.
I was in high school, I uh, failed the third year, yes, the third year,
Mm-hmm.
because the English, the English test, I didn't pass the English test.
Why?
So, and because I didn't like English. So
And
I
you didn't
remember,
study, of course, right?
yes, yes. So, and then the next year, I remember that I have a teacher that she explained me, everything in a good way. So she was very patient, sorry, with us. She helped us a lot. So with that teacher, I realized that, um, I like to speak English as a second language. She also advised us that learning English uh, is important because you will have many doors open for you and for your
Yeah.
future. So she helped me to realize, that English is a good tool, a good thing that we need to learn, even
Hmm.
though if we don't want to be a teacher or uh, something related with education in English, so it's necessary, or I can say mandatory, to learn English because it's like the universal language that we can, interact with others.
Yeah, you're right. So something interesting that you said it's that when you were studying in high school, you didn't like so much the English, and now you're taking advantages of itself.
Yes.
Okay, good. Let's move on to next slide. So as we were discussing in the previous session, we were defining what authentic assessment is, and we already discussed that authentic assessment, it was a way, right, of testing where you show that you know by doing real world tasks. Instead of just writing answers on a test, you might take a project, give a presentation, or perform a skill to show your understanding. It's similar to the example that you were explaining to when you were taking the high school.
Yeah.
Now,
It's
let's see. Yeah.
well, it's basically to explain, something to the students using examples in real life.
Yeah, I would say that nowadays most of the teachers use authentic assessments,
Yeah.
because it's not just writing on a test just to see and score if you passed or not. So it's just to put into practice in real world tasks. Okay. Now let's move on to next slide. And here we got the benefits of authentic assessment. We got to promote deep learning. What do you understand by that?
Promote deep learning. So I can say that the students feel more identified with the examples in real life situations, so they
Yeah.
can assimilate better the examples.
Yeah, and it is here when as a teacher we need to encourage critical thinking and problem solving on students, okay? What
Yeah.
about the second one? Encourages real world application.
Um, search real word.
So when we say real world application means or refers
Up,
to real life, right?
to real life.
Yeah, either
It's not
both
related with
professional and personal.
applications.
Hmm.
It's related with applications, apps that we can use to enrich ourselves or things like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
Yes, nowadays there are a lot of apps that we can use to, learn English in a funny way, different way, and not the old way that teachers did now in the past. So we can use different tools like Kahoot, Classroom to have an interactive class.
Yes. Yeah, and sometimes we can reflect on professional and personal challenges when using all of them. Okay, good. What about this one? Enhances student engagement.
Engage. Um, that's a good one. Enhance student engage. So um, I can say so with real life examples, that we are having every day in our daily basis.
Hmm.
I can say,
Yeah, yeah.
we feel more identified, so we can be more interested to learn using that way. So we will try to be focused, try to follow, the process of learning or the learning process.
Yeah, yes, it's here when where the student has to be more interested, right? And
Exact
motivated. Yeah, you're
motivate.
right. What about this one? Develops transferable skills.
Um, develop transferable skills. If I'm not mistaken, is when we have a real life situations that happen every day and we can use it to learn by repeating that action or things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when we say it or when we talk about transferable skills, means or refers to communications, okay? Or when the student work in a teamwork or even in self-assessment, right? So that is related to transferable skills. In the last one, we got provides a more comprehensive evaluation. You know that here it's when the teacher measure practical abilities, okay? And it is not just on theoretical knowledge.
Oh, okay.
What about the
Okay.
disadvantages of authentic assessment? Time consuming. Why do you think that time consuming can be like a drawbacks of authentic assessment?
Um, Time consuming. So, well, I think that it will be a disadvantage because, for example, if we have a class and we want to put in practice, a real world situation, so we need to evaluate what are the steps that we need to take to, to have done the activity instead of, the what is the other one, the old technique, how,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah.
yes. So they just give you like a test. You have 30 minutes to complete it, and that's all. So it usually takes more time the authentic assessment because you need to evaluate. You need to try to investigate the things that you want to present. For example, if they say, "Okay, so today we will have a role play. Let's pretend that we are a manager of the bank. So we will
Right.
try to find information, how they work, because you don't have an idea what are the things that the manager does.
Right.
So you need to investigate more. So it
Yeah.
obviously takes more time.
Yeah, you need more time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I strongly agree with you. What about the subjectivity in grading? You know that let me tell you something here. You know that when we talk about grading, so here it's when we require a well-designed rubrics to ensure fairness, right? Because if you're gonna give some instructions, let's suppose that this is gonna be about other presentations. If you're gonna give to the student some instructions, you need to give some assessment criteria, right? In a rubric to be more specific. What do you want a student to do about that topic, right?
Exactly.
So what
Yeah.
about this? Resource intensive.
Resource intense. Um, Something related with research information
Yes, and when we talk about research, where do you think that we can find that one?
and it will be in the computer in a different links in Google, different pages or articles.
Yes, yes, and that's related to technology, right?
Exactly.
So it's here when some assessment need technologies, okay? Even if you want to design some materials, so you're gonna use technology, right?
Exactly.
Okay, good. Let's see next. Students' struggles.
A student struggle. Okay, so well, it will be related with the different beliefs, different type, different
Mm-hmm.
opinions. You know, when we are working in team, we well, we try to concrete an idea, but you know, all the teams think differently. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we can have issues, or we can struggle to concrete. You know, I don't know if say concrete or
Yeah,
concrete. Yeah,
concrete.
concrete what we want to present. So it's something related with organization.
Yes. I don't know. I don't know
Or
if I don't know if you have seen in the university in the same group that you're studying that some of them preferred a traditional task just to be completed.
exactly,
Some others don't like that, right? They prefer to develop communication skills.
exactly. So I remember that last
Mm-hmm.
year, a class called Rubén Darío.
Mm-hmm.
So the teacher say, okay, so we have our final exam. Our final exam is visit the León.
Yeah.
So we will visit the Rubén Darío's museum. So we will try to show you all the things that belong to him, all the
And,
things. Well,
and all
all
of
the
you
all the
agreed.
no,
Really?
no, yes,
Why?
believe me. So some of them say, "Oh my God, I don't want to travel to León
Because of the
uh,
time,
because
supposed.
of the time." So some of the students decide to do an exam that was very hard because it was almost
Too
four
much
pages.
information. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So I prefer to go to Leon.
Yeah, but
And
by your own, you accept it, right?
yes, by my own, but the university provides a bus,
Mm-hmm.
a bus. Yes,
And even you didn't want to. Oh, okay.
yes.
What about this one? Difficult to standardize.
Difficult to standardize. Um, Well, I think that is something related with the students' struggle because the standardized is to, you know, um, have problems with the students, you know, that uh, they have a different learning method. For example, well, I am let's try to have a better idea. For example, the teachers say, okay, so today we will have like a role play.
Mm.
I'm good doing role play, so I can develop my myself, so I can speak about whatever topic. But some, for example, the older students say, I don't want to because I'm shy. I don't like to speak, so I prefer, you know, doing tests, writing, or something like that. So it's
Mm-hmm.
an issue that we can find, you know, the balance.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now I'm gonna give you an example. Let's suppose that you have been working hard on delivering the task on time, okay, and you attended the class every single Sunday, and there is another student that works when he or her wants to, but at the end, that person or that student got a better result than you. So what would you do? Would you start comparing the result that you acquired?
Uh, yeah, sometimes happens to me that I say, for example, I remember that in the last quarter, I have four, I can say friends that when the teacher give us a test or give us you know, something that we need to do,
Mm-hmm.
uh, we made it by the four.
Mm-hmm. So
So
that is related to difficult to standardize. I mean that
exactly,
according to the example that I gave you, that you didn't accept the result that you wanted because you felt that you were doing more than the other student.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's move on to next. And this is for the conclusion. And we got a question. If you were a teacher, how would you balance the use of authentic and traditional assessment in your classroom?
Okay. Yes, I think that both methods have, positive things and negative things.
Mhm.
But I will use, the positive things in order that the students learn as much as possible. For example, authentic traditional assessment. Okay, authentic. I will use it like every day to explain with real world situations and they understand better. So at the end of the day or at the end of the course, I will say, okay, so related with the practice that we have with the practice that we have this previously, we will have a test, but I will try that they are like linked. The authentic and the traditional assessment. I would like that they be linked together, so it will be easy for them to use both methods. Hello.
Yeah, I was muted. Yeah, I was saying that all depends on the ability, the skill that you want to test, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see that that's all for this session. Okay, that's all for this session. And just let me remind you that on the session number 2 on the platform, you will find a task. And even in the same task, in the same document, you will find the rubrics, okay? The assessment criterion that you have to read carefully because all of them are gonna be the parameters that I'm gonna use for assessing the task that you're gonna upload, okay?
Okay, teacher. I
Okay, if you
will.
don't have any questions, so we're gonna end today in this and see you next one.
Okay, see you.
Okay, take care.